Hour 2, live in Los Angeles. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, iHeartRadio. We're on Fox Sports Radio and right here on FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me this hour. Albert Breer stops by and Joel Klatt. We got all sorts of stuff going on. The World Series, Game 2 tonight on Fox. David Price goes for the Red Sox. They're favored in the series. And Fenway made the Dodgers look very uncomfortable last night. I want to get back to what was a big story yesterday on the show, Amari Cooper of the Raiders being traded to the Cowboys. And I'm hearing all these stories about, he's not worth a first rounder. He's going to be too expensive. So the latest story, Mike Florio says his contract, he's going to be guaranteed almost $14 million next year. Oh, $14 million. That would be 7% of the cap. Who cares? Khalil Mack is a defensive player making $22.5. And I said it was the best value. And she said, we got a rake. Well, it's the best value. It was off 40%. I got a rake. She grabbed the rake and hit me over the head with it because she needed eggs and she needed milk and bread. This whole thing about just draft the best player available. Well, if the best player available is a quarterback and you have Drew Brees in his prime, you don't draft a quarterback. You sell the pick. This year, New England always says this. We just get the best player available. Really? This year, go look at who the Patriots drafted in the first round. It was not the best players available. They needed a running back because they lost Deion Lewis. They drafted a running back, and it was a left tackle, guard tackle, because they lost Nate Solder. They went to fill positions of need, running back and offensive lineman. Those were not the two best players. You can argue both. Most people said both were a reach, a little bit of a reach.
If you have key pieces like that,
you don't need...
Maybe you get the best player available. But if you need something,
go get it.
Then you get that. How did that work out for the Giants this year?
Okay.
It's all anyone can talk about with the Giants.
If you think Jerry Jones is losing sleep on this, here's Jerry Jones. I'm going to read you a quote from Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys. Here's a quote he had years ago. He said, "When I look back on my life, I overpaid for my biggest successes every time. And when I tried to get a bargain, I ended up either getting it and not happy with it or missing it." Now think about this. In the 60s, this is a gambler, Jerry Jones. He borrowed $1 million in the 60s. $1 million was a lot in the 60s from Jimmy Hoffa's Teamster Union to buy some Shakey's Pizza chains. Some Shakey's Pizza was a big chain. It was the Pizza Hut of its time, right? He borrowed $1 million from Jimmy Hoffa's Teamsters. You think this is going to make him uncomfortable? By the way, when he bought the Dallas Cowboys, they were losing $1 million a month. Look it up. They are now the most valuable franchise in the world. When he built Jerry's World, do you know what the budget was for that? $650 million. Do you know what it cost him? $1.1 billion. It was double the cost, but Jerry kept saying, nope, I like this. Nope, I like that. Bigger scoreboard, better seats, nicer suites. And now that's the most valuable stadium in America. Okay. You think he's losing sleep because Amari Cooper could be, and his biggest successes have been spending a little more than going bargain. Jerry tells you, when I look back, every success is overpaying in the moment. When I tried to get a bargain, when I jumped over a 20 to get to a 5, I either get it and don't like it, or I missed out on it. This is an aggressive guy. It's an aggressive brand. The great successes for the Cowboys have been with aggressive Jimmy Johnson. Remember Jimmy Johnson made that Herschel Walker trade? That was an aggressive move. Changed the franchise. Bill Parcells, aggressive.
Changed the NFL.
Changed the NFL. That was an aggressive move. At the time, people were like, what in God's name is Jimmy Joe? God's the greatest move of all time. Jerry was aggressive, bought a team, and by the way, cobbled together every nickel he had to buy the Cowboys. I mean, Jerry was not rolling in dough. He took a huge risk. Multiple loans to buy the Cow. Everything he's done, Jerry's World. $600 million? No, $1.1 billion. So they're not losing a second of sleep on this. All right, this is amazing. So the New York Giants have just traded defensive tackle Damon Harrison to the Detroit Lions. He's a very good player. Snacks Harrison. The Giants are essentially, they're giving up on the season. They gave up Eli Manning to the Saints for a couple of picks. Snacks Harrison goes to Detroit, giving up on the season. And they should at this point. They can't win, get draft picks, and get some players, right? And by the way, Pro Football Focus says the Lions have added the NFL's leader in defensive stops on the defensive interior in each of the past 3 seasons. Not Aaron Donald, this guy. So he's good. And we have a lot of trades happening now in the NFL. We still got a week to go and a lot of trades. So yesterday, Peter King was on the show, and we asked him, why suddenly now do we have all these trades going on in the NFL? Teams are more aggressive.
The young general managers and young coaches don't necessarily buy that you have to do it the way you used to do it. So the younger GMs and the younger people making the decisions are not necessarily married to their ancestors in the league. Plus, it always helps if you can make a trade up through week 8 in the NFL instead of through week 6.
So I like the move. It's aggressive. He's a good player. The Lions are like, hey, but I just want to point this out. Now think about this for a second. So Chicago got Khalil Mack, aggressive. And Minnesota went and paid Kirk Cousins. They won 13 games with Case Keenum. They went super aggressive and got Kirk Cousins. And Detroit here is being really aggressive. Who's not in the division? Green Bay. I want to give you Green Bay's schedule for the next 5 games. At the Rams, at the Patriots. Dolphins at home, not an easy one. At Seattle, at Minnesota. 1-4. The Bears got aggressive. The Lions just got aggressive. Rodgers. Now, I want you to think about that. What is Vegas telling you about Green Bay? They don't have any players. Has Tom Brady ever been a 5-point underdog? I couldn't tell you the last time Tom Brady was a 4-point underdog, a feel underdog. Has Drew Brees in the year the Saints were 7-9, 7-9, 7-9 with a bad defense? It's weak. Jets are bottom 3rd in the league in all of those. They have a rookie quarterback. By the way, they're so beat up at wide receiver. They're bringing guys off the street right now. They just made a trade with Tennessee. They don't have any receivers. They're going to face the Bears in cold Chicago, and Sam Darnold's only a 7-point underdog. Vegas is like, give him a touchdown. Aaron gets 9.5. Well, I mean, if they're not telling you that Green Bay doesn't have any players, I don't know what else they have to say. I mean, that is, seriously, 9.5 is what the Buffalo Bills get on the road. And we're in an offensive era where quarterbacks have never been more valuable. So you've got the best one, arguably, and Vegas is like, yeah, this is like the Bills on the road with a rookie quarterback. Wow is all I can say. All right, packed today. Albert Breer's around the corner, some NFL news. And speaking of Vegas, Luke Walton's in trouble. We'll address that next. The Herd.